A WNBA star is arrested in Russia for having this in her possession.
And how much is too much? Find out how this app might be affecting your child.
And how this student organization is helping those in need through music.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Sydney Deshawn.
And I'm Madison Myers.
In the middle of Russia's attack on Ukraine, news of basketball player Brittany Griner's detainment on drug charges became public on Saturday. Our sports anchor, Brandon Brunworth, has the latest on this story. What can you tell us, Brandon?
Thanks, Sydney. Brittany Griner, a championship-winning player with the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury, has been detained in Russia for having cannabis oil in her luggage. Friends and family are pleading for her release, which may be more difficult as tensions rise between Russia and the U.S. CNN's Rosa Flores has the details.
It's hard for anybody, I'm sure, that knows Brittany.
Emotions are high as friends and family of WNBA star Brittany Griner grapple with Griner's arrest last month by Russia customs officials who allege Griner had cannabis oil in her luggage at Moscow's main international airport.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is that this will become that she'll be a political pawn.
Griner's high school coach Debbie Jackson says the current Phoenix Mercury center, two-time Olympic gold medalist and seven-time WNBA All-Star, has the skills to overcome this episode.
She's going to fight to the end, I have no doubt. She'll be determined to keep on fighting.
Griner's wife taking to Instagram today saying, "My heart, our hearts, are all skipping beats every day that goes by. I miss your voice. I miss your presence. There are no words to express this pain." Griner, who plays with the Russian team during the WNBA offseason, remains in custody. The statement from Russian custom officials not saying how long she's been detained nor the conditions she's being held in.
I've talked to a couple of sources, and they said it's been a couple of weeks that this has been going on.
U.S. officials today providing few specifics as well.
Of course, we obviously do everything we can when there are any reports of Americans who are detained through the State Department and through diplomatic channels.
As U.S. officials work behind the scenes, some celebrities are coming out in support, including Chef Jose Andres, who tweeted, "We stand with you." And NFL quarterback and fellow Baylor grad RG3 posting, "Get her home." Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who represents Griner's home city of Houston, also calling for her release.
Anyone that is killing and attacking and destroying Ukraine, their neighboring country that does not bother them, has no right to hold Ms. Griner, period.
If convicted on the drug charges, Russian officials say Griner could face up to 10 years in prison.
If she, by any chance, watches this story, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, please know that you are loved by so many people. You've always had a true resolve and grit to get to the finish line, and know that you will get to the finish line. A lot of people here care about you.
Griner's wife, Sherelle Griner, thanked supporters in a post on Instagram and has asked for privacy during this troubling time. Make sure to keep watching as I have more sports updates later in the show. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Brandon. In Ukraine, thousands are fleeing for safety every day as Russian forces ramp up their attacks on innocent civilians. Reporter Clarissa Ward for CNN shows us what happened yesterday.
At the Kyiv Central train station today, a crush of people trying to escape as Russian forces hit closer to the capital. Many here have just been evacuated from the hardest hit areas. Few know where they are going next. Alla and her family made it out of the Kyiv suburb of Bucha early this morning, leaving behind her 81-year-old grandfather. He didn't want to come with us. He decided to stay, she says. He's old and can't run very fast, and we had to leave so quickly this morning. I don't know what's happening there now. It's so scary. I don't understand how you can shell peaceful people. We never wished harm on anyone. We were friends with Russia. We have relatives in Russia, she says. They just want to erase Ukraine from the face of the earth. It's that fear that is fueling a sense of desperation here.
So the minute they announce the next train going west, you can see everybody just scrambles to try to get on it.
Down below, the platform is packed, but people remain calm. They rush in to help an exhausted elderly woman who has fallen on the track. Close to departure time, confusion sets in. Another train arrives and people run across the tracks hoping to catch it. Finally, the train to Lviv arrives. There's pushing and shoving as people jostle for space. Let the women and children go first, one man shouts. Another weeps as he hugs his wife goodbye. Sonia, I love you, he calls out. He waits for the train to leave, eyes locked on the window, for what may be his last look.
You know, walking to the station this morning, it was so cold and I even saw some freezing rain.
That's crazy. I sure do miss our warm temperatures we had last week. I know our weather anchor, Victor Villagran, can tell us more about what to expect today and tomorrow. Victor?
Thanks, y'all. And actually, as I too was walking in, I started getting sleeted down by all that cold weather happening because we got 40 degrees weather outside and it's feeling like 38 with a 3 miles per hour wind speed. So pull out your scarves, it is getting chilly outside. Now moving on to tonight, we got 46 degree temperatures, feeling like 43 at a 5 miles per hour wind speed. So it is getting a little warmer, but it won't be as warm as it will be tomorrow with a 53 degree weather, feeling like 51 at a 5 miles per hour wind speed again. So it is getting slowly warmer and warmer throughout the day and tomorrow, but I do have more for you in terms of weather coming up on our 7-day forecast. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Victor. If you are planning on going out to a bar or a restaurant this weekend, you might notice something missing: Russian-named vodka brands. Recently, Texas Governor Greg Abbott asked retailers to pull all Russian brands from the shelves, but some North Texas bars and restaurants are removing liquors that aren't actually Russian. Reporting for CNN, Jen Sullivan has the story.
A growing number of states are boycotting Russian-made booze in support of Ukraine.
I have no intentions of bringing them back.
Officials in at least 8 states, including Ohio, Utah, Oregon, North Carolina, Alabama, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and New Hampshire, are calling on liquor stores to remove Russian-made or Russian-branded products from their shelves.
We sell anywhere around $20 million of Russian-based product at any given over the course of any given year, out of the $1 billion or so of spirits that we do sell. So it does have some impact.
But experts say the move may miss the intended target because few alcohol brands are imported from Russia and sold in the U.S. In fact, many of the top-selling vodka brands with Russian origins are now distilled in other countries, including the U.S.
Boom. That's how we feel about it.
One example, Stoli vodka, which is only Russian by name. The vodka is actually made in Latvia, and the company is headquartered in Luxembourg. The invasion triggered a rebrand with the company, announcing it will be sold and marketed only as Stoli. Another example is Smirnoff. Although the brand traces its heritage to 19th century Russia, the company has long been owned by a British spirits company and is manufactured in Illinois.
I suppose if there were a Russian beer or a Russian wine, that's coming off the shelves too.
2 of the few vodka brands actually produced in Russia are Russian Standard and Green Mark. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
This move is in solidarity with Ukraine as Russia continues its invasion on its neighbor.
President Biden makes his way to the Lone Star State. Find out where he'll be after the break.
And are your kids spending too much time on TikTok? Find out how this app could be affecting your children. Stay tuned.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. to use it, push it up for the right blinker, and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
President Joe Biden announced he's coming to Fort Worth. On Tuesday, the president plans to speak with veterans at the Fort Worth VA clinic about the harmful effects of environmental exposures such as burn pits. You might be wondering, what are burn pits? Well, burn pits were used extensively in Iraq and Afghanistan to dispose of tires, batteries, and other materials. During the State of the Union address, Biden mentioned his son Beau, who died of cancer, may have been among the many veterans who were exposed to the toxic fumes. Biden is expected to make his remarks today at 2:30 p.m.
Yesterday, March 7th, marked the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, a defining moment in civil rights history. Vice President Kamala Harris was in Selma, Alabama on Sunday to honor the generation of protesters that sacrificed their lives for voter equality. CNN's Kay McCabe has the story.
Been here today, I think it's about remembering, it's about rededication and renewal.
Vice President Kamala Harris, along with thousands, gather on an emotional day to commemorate the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday.
It's sad, but it's an emotional moment at the same time because there was a lot of people getting beat. A lot of people died on this day.
Several marchers like Paul LeBay say he traveled all the way from West Palm Beach to help bring awareness to this fight that's still going on today.
Standing here 57 years later, walking the same bridge, there's still a problem with the things that are going on.
Speakers included Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Vice President Kamala Harris and members of her cabinet, and more. But all in attendance agreed the true pioneers in the crowd were the foot soldiers who were there that day in 1965. Daughter-in-law of Mrs. Amelia Boynton Robinson, Betty Boynton, says she still remembers it all.
They said it was the awful experiment I ever had. I thought all of us gonna die that day. And they didn't stay here on the bridge. They come all in the community, I keep on telling them. Beating people.
Marchers walked across the bridge to continue the fight for voting rights for African Americans. CEO of Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Charles Steele, says one day the work they're doing now will cure racism.
CDC came out with a medical study last April and said racism is a virus. Racism is no different than COVID-19.
On Monday, the U.S. Senate unanimously passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, making it impossible to prosecute lynching as a hate crime. Emmett Till was just 14 years old when he was lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store. Since the vote, Senator Chuck Schumer said this about the act's approval.
After more than 200 failed attempts to outlaw lynching, Congress is finally succeeding in taking the long overdue action by passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Hallelujah, it's long overdue.
The bill was introduced in 2018 and now awaits President Joe Biden's signature. With spring break coming up, I can't help but wonder if we'll be getting any warmer weather, Sydney.
I'm actually going to Myrtle Beach for this spring break, so I won't be keeping up with our Texas temperatures, but I know somebody who will be. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Victor Villagran. Victor.
Thanks, y'all. As you can look at this map, we're seeing some similar temperatures all across North Texas. Up here in Paris, we're going to see 41 degrees. Then in Dallas, we're going to see 42 degrees. But then you'll see down here, Stephenville, 41 degrees. So we're going to stay in the low 40s, high 30s across North Texas. But the same can't be true about all of Texas, as we'll see in El Paso. We're going to have 50 degrees. We're going to have 47 degrees down in Houston. And then Austin, 44, but then Denton is still going to stay at that 40. Oklahoma City above it is going to be at that 39. But now, looking more closely at Denton's weather, our 7-day forecast is going to tell us a little bit of a different story. Today, high 47, low of 27. Wednesday, a little bit warmer at 60 degrees, low of 36. Thursday, again, a bit warmer with a high of 70. Then on Friday, we might start seeing polar bears outside. It's going to be a high of 45 degrees with a low of 24. But if there are any polar bears, they're going to be gone by Saturday, with it getting a little bit sunnier. And then slowly throughout the weekend, sunnier again. Sunday, a high of 67. Then on Monday, a high of 74. So hey, just make sure you're bundled up for that weather changes. It's Texas after all. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Victor. Now, Maddie, I don't know about you, but sometimes I find myself watching one too many TikTok videos.
I totally understand, Sydney. I love TikTok too, but I heard that there might be some downsides to the app. Our reporter Brianna Moore has the story.
Thanks, guys. Well, that is right. The most downloaded app, TikTok, has been in the light for quite some time as a fan favorite. But recently, several attorney generals across the country are concerned regarding the health consequences in children that may be watching just one too many TikToks. Here's CNN with more.
Social media in the spotlight once again. An investigation into TikTok follows a similar one launched in November by a group of state attorneys general and whether these platforms are harmful to children.
It's really a wake-up call, the power of social media on such a young population.
Dr. Mohammed Al-Dasari, director of the Center for Pediatric Neurosciences at Cleveland Clinic, says social media can affect children's mental health and may even cause or worsen stress and anxiety.
These young minds are very suggestible. They're very vulnerable to these exposures.
Al-Dasari says parents and kids need to be aware of potential dangers. If a child is already suffering from a mental health issue like depression or anxiety, there's a higher risk of adverse effects of social media. Consider limiting exposure, and parents should talk to kids about what they're seeing online.
I think it's something that we really have to address for the well-being and the safety of the young generation.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, that is all for this week's Commit to Be Fit with ntTV. I'm Brianna Moore. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Brianna. Coming up, Amazon has even more deals for UNT students looking to save.
And shout out to all of our ladies because it's International Women's Day. Find out what this global holiday is all about later in the show. Stay with us.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Being a college student, it is challenging to pay for school and work a full-time job at the same time. Well, Amazon is making it easier for you. Amazon has included the University of North Texas and 8 other in-state colleges in a program that allows employees to take classes and pursue a degree. After you become an employee and work for 90 days, you will be eligible for their employee tuition program. Employees' tuition can be paid up to a maximum of $5,250 per year, and if you work part-time, you can get up to $2,625. Other benefits include industry certificates, English language classes, and high school completion programs.
Another opportunity for UNT students has a different twist. This one is geared toward helping students who will follow a path in social work. ntTV's Hannah Gonzalez introduces us to UNT Plus and the work it is doing.
We got a really good group of people working together on this. I've never seen a charity concert in the cohorts before us. This is a big deal. We're all making a big deal out of this.
Project Youth is a cohort at UNT that is made up of seniors studying social work. Their mission is to prevent and intervene in adolescents who suffer from substance misuse. The group partnered with Killers Tacos to raise money for Youth 180.
We're fundraising for Youth 180, which is a nonprofit outpatient treatment facility in the Oak Cliff area of Dallas. And Youth 180 basically focuses on trauma-centered counseling. It focuses on healthy copanisms and prevention education for kids as young as 8 up to their early 20s. And tonight we have 6 bands playing. The $10 cover is all going to go to Youth 180.
Haley Youngworth, who serves on the executive board, explains how events like these help their cause.
Well, it brings awareness to the organization that we're representing, but it helps encourage people to want to support and to want to be involved.
But how does the money raised help Youth 180?
Our money will directly go into the therapy, the cost of counseling and therapy, and it's an outpatient facility, so any transportation, anything like that they need, it will also go there.
For ntTV, I'm Hannah Gonzalez.
The charity concert raised over $2,000. If you are interested in donating monetarily, their Venmo is UNTX Project Youth. You know, Sydney, I heard tensions between Russia and Ukraine have actually had a huge impact on sports.
I haven't heard too much about that, but I know our sports anchor, Brandon Brunworth, can probably tell us more. Brandon?
Thanks, Maddie and Sydney. That's right. The Russian-Ukrainian conflict is affecting the sports world as well, but I'll have more details after the break. Stay with us.
Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
The war in Ukraine, launched by Russia, has dominated headlines, as the effects of this awful situation are starting to be felt in the stock market, gas prices, and yes, even the world of sports. Overwhelming support for Ukraine has been seen this past week, as major sports organizations have started banning Russian teams and players from competing worldwide. The International Paralympic Committee has banned Russian and Belarusian athletes from the 2022 Paralympics. FIFA announced that all Russian international and club teams will be suspended from competitions until further notice. Formula One and the FIA have canceled the Russian Grand Prix from the upcoming 2022 season, and the Haas F1 team has fired their Russian driver Nikita Mazepin and parted ways with their main Russian sponsor. Tennis, FIBA basketball, cycling, hockey, and many more have joined in on banning Russian athletes, showing how much of the world is defiantly standing with Ukraine. On a lighter note, the Dallas Mavericks are on a roll, now boasting a 5-game win streak after besting the Utah Jazz 111-103 last night. Luka Doncic led the way with 35 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists. New teammate Spencer Dinwiddie has been exactly what the Mavs have needed so far to pair with Luka, as he finished the night with 23 points, staying red hot from 3, shooting 5 of 9 from behind the arc. The Mavs are 15 games above 500 for the first time since 2016, and the win brings them within a half game of the Jazz for the 4th seed in the Western Conference. The Mavericks hit the court again on Wednesday as the New York Knicks come to town. Your men and women's UNT basketball teams both finished their regular season on a high note. The men finished the season at 16-2, winning the Western Division and securing the #1 seed in the Western USA Championship, while the women finished the season 10-7 and clinched the #2 Western seed in the CUSA bracket. Both teams also had players recognized in all-conference honors. Tyler Perry was voted first-team All-Conference and the league's 6th Player of the Year, and senior Thomas Bell was named second-team All-Conference. Bell also joined teammate J.J. Murray on the CUSA All-Defensive Team. For the women's team, Quincy Noble was named second-team All-Conference, and Madison Townley received an honorable mention. Since both teams earned a first and second round bye, you can catch both the men and the women's teams when they return to action on Thursday. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Brandon. Who runs the world? Girls. That's right. Today is International Women's Day. March 8th marks a special day celebrating women all across the world and their achievements, socially, economically, culturally, and politically. First celebrated in 1911, this global holiday recognizes how far women have come. Not only is this a day of celebration, but also a call to action to continue fighting for women's equality. You can celebrate by wearing purple or just letting the women that inspire you know just how much they mean to you. In honor of today, a special thanks to all of the lovely women in both of our lives. I know my mom and my grandmas are some of my #1 fans out there.
That's right, Sydney. My mom is definitely my biggest supporter and inspiration, and a special shout out to the amazing women here at our station.
Our station director, Phyllis, and our amazing producer, Kate. The list could honestly go on forever.
Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.